What up, what up, what up? I got QB fades for the 2024 fantasy football season. You do not want these guys on your roster because they will be a constant headache. So let's get right into the content. So let's kick things off with my first quarterback that I'm fading for the 2024 fantasy football season. It's Patrick Mahomes, man. He's QB5 right now, underdog fantasy. He's still being treated and drafted as if he's going to be this top 5 quarterback. But I look around the supporting cast that he has at this moment. We're 15 days away from the draft, 14 days depending on when you're watching it. It doesn't matter. But I feel as though Patrick Mahomes right now is in the worst situation he was this season versus last season. I mean, Rashad Rice's off-field issues, who knows how that pans out if he misses games, if any. I think Travis Kelce is on the end of decline where he's going to make this decision if he's leaving football or not. 35 in October. He's been taking a lot of bumps and bruises. I mean, last season he looked a little bit of human, even though he still was somewhat productive for a lot of fantasy managers. But I just see that Travis Kelce is on the decline. Now, they added Marquise Brown. That is a great addition, a cool addition, but I just don't think that he's exactly filling the shoes and the void that they're missing in Tyreek Hill's production. Now, Marquise Brown, yes, he's a speedster. Yeah, he's a guy that can make plays, but the last couple of seasons, he has not been that guy. He has not been able to stay healthy as well. The injury bug is on his jacket as well. So you're really depending on him being healthy and Rashad Rice not missing many games and Travis Kelce coming back to football 100%. Travis Kelce, man, 2022, he had a career high in targets, receptions, touchdowns. I think that season took a lot out of him. And then going into this next season with some off-field distractions, I will call Taylor Swift an off-field distraction because it is at this point. So who knows if he rides off the sunset, have a kid with her, get married, et cetera, and he hangs it up. But it's just something that we need to look at. And everybody has the Chiefs peg to be drafting a wide receiver in the first round to kind of fill that void of Rashad Rice, misses time, or if he doesn't, who knows. But I really feel as though I don't see them taking a wide receiver in the first round, the back end. I really think they're going to address the tackle position, being that it's been a little shaky the last couple of seasons. I mean, Jawan Taylor, they brung in, he didn't pan out to be what he was in Jacksonville. He allowed 3 times the QB pressure and QB hurry ups, and he allowed 14 QB. No, I'm sorry. He allowed 14 QB hits last season compared to his 13 that he had in 4 years that he allowed in his career. So that's pretty nasty work. So there is a need for tackles. And I think a lot of tackles in this draft class have a first round grade. So I think they will pivot from the wide receiver position to fill a void that they desperately need. They need playmakers on offense. And I really feel as though they hit tackle because a lot of tackles are going to be going in the first round. We had 8 in 2008, and that's the most in draft common history right now, in common draft area. I mean, so I really feel as though there's a lot of question marks around Patrick Mahomes, and him still being drafted as a top 5 quarterback is just not necessarily true. He barely was a top 10 quarterback this season. He had averaged the same amount of fantasy points per game as Russell Wilson. And if I want Russell Wilson production, I'll just draft Russell Wilson. So the next quarterback that I will be fading for the 2024 fantasy football season will be Justin Herbert. Now, he is going into a completely night and day offense that he is used to, man. He's a high volume passing quarterback, 39 pass attempts per game, which is the 3rd most since 2020. Only 4 games in his career where he has less than 30 pass attempts in a game. And in those 4 games where he did have less than 30, he averaged 16 fantasy points per game, 191 yards per game with 8.1 yards per attempt. So the floor here possible for Justin Herbert in this run first offense, because it's clear indication that's what they want to do, calling Gus Edwards the bell cow, bringing in 2 tight ends that are blocking tight ends. So they're going to run the ball. It's going to be ground and pound. So with a guy like Justin Herbert, who is part of the 5,000 passing yard club, it's really sad to see Keenan Allen, Mike Williams go, because those guys were huge playmakers and core of this offense that were able to get Justin Herbert most of those points. Like I said, a high volume passing quarterback going into a run first offense. I'm not too sure if I'm on board here. Now, a lot of those weeks are going to be up and down, and I'm not here for the roller coaster trying to depend on the run game being successful, them getting scoring opportunities. It's going to be really hard for Justin Herbert with just a Quentin Johnston and a Josh Palmer on the perimeter. I know they're going to go in the draft, and they'll probably grab one of these, wide receivers in the 2nd and 3rd round, whatever the case may be. But these guys are not going to fill the void of a Mike Williams or a Keenan Allen. They're not going to be huge playmakers. A lot of those wide receivers deep in the early 2nd round or the 3rd round round, there are a lot of wide receiver twos. Those are contributor guys. These aren't alpha wide receivers. So even if they do draft a guy in the second round as a wide receiver, he's no Rome Odunze. He is no Malik Neighbors. He is no Marvin Harrison Jr. These are not the tier of those wide receivers. So whoever they bring in, it doesn't make me attractive. It doesn't bring attraction to draft, a Justin Herbert this summer. I mean, honestly, you don't want the run game to suck and they're behind. And then fourth quarter, Justin Herbert has to play catch up and try to get those garbage time, try to get those fantasy points. I know there might be situations like that because it's not 100% locked that what Jim Harbaugh is putting together is going to work 100%. Herbert has the most fourth quarter interceptions since 2020. So that's also worth noting as well. So there's a lot of reasons why this could be obvious of why you'll fade Justin Herbert, but I just want to stamp and put it in the dirt that Justin Herbert should not be on rosters this season. So next up, I was very on the fence about this one, but I think I am going to be fading Joe Burrow this season at QB7 right now on Underdog, and I believe the loss of Tyler Boyd and Joe Mixon will be felt. I mean, you're losing two reliable targets here that can't be easily replaced with plug and play, additions to the draft. I mean, Joe Mixon was a nice balance at running back. He gave you everything he got between the tackles. You could run him through the dirt. He also was able to make an impact in the passing game as well for Joe Burrow. So I'm not too quite sure if Zach Moss comes in and can carry over similar impact. But also looking at Tyler Boyd, who ate up that slot, he was a very reliable wide receiver for him. I mean, look, since 2021, Tyler Boyd led the Bengals in wide receivers and catch rate with 70%. So that stamps him as a guy that Joe Burrow relied on sometimes in very clutch moments or first downs that were needed, where he had more receptions and yak yards than T. Higgins in that span with 12 touchdowns to go along with that. I mean, you get a downgrade at the running back position when you bring in Zach Moss. So Joe Mixon won't be there to be able to handle what he was able to handle in the red zone as well. So get a downgrade at the slot position as well. You're going to need a reliable target there. You're going to need a guy that's going to be able to be your security blanket. So you lost two very important security blankets. And I think Joe Burrow will feel that. He will feel the instant reminder like, man, I really wish I had Joe Mixon back here to be able to have his head on the swivel, catch this pass out of the backfield. I really wish on 3rd and 10 where I can target a Tyler Boyd who's very good at separation and creating mismatches and being that target for him. I mean, on 1st and 2nd down, Boyd had a higher target share than T. Higgins since 2021. So that just shows that he was just one of those reliable targets on the 1st and 2nd read for Joe Burrow to be productive. So the loss of these two will be felt, and I think I will be fading Joe Burrow this season. So this wraps up another great episode of RotoBaller Fantasy Sports YouTube channel. Please make sure you guys like and subscribe. Leave a comment below on what you guys think about the episode, some quarterbacks that I may have missed that you also need to be fading, or you disagree with the guys that I named. So you guys can follow me at Real Deal Fantasy on all social media platforms. Until next time.